Good morning students, welcome to biology online class. In last session, we have discussed about reproduction in plants. The topic is sexual mode of reproduction. The sexual mode of reproduction. What is mean by sexual reproduction? Then fusion of male and female gametes is known as sexual reproduction. In this main sexual part of a plant is flower. Sexual part of a plant is flower. Flower is a most attractive part of the plant. It is present four type of parts. There is calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Are petals, sepals, stamen and pistil. Okay, a flower is containing both parts like pistil and anther. A flower is containing both sexual parts like stamen and pistil are known as bisexual flower. There is complete flower. Bisexual or complete flower. A flower is contain stamen or pistil. Any one sex organ. Stamen or pistil. Any one sex organ is present. The flower is called incomplete or unisexual flower. Incomplete or unisexual flower. You know already last class we have discussed bisexual and unisexual flower. For example, hibiscus, datura. These flowers are contain both sex organs like anther and pistil. They are called bisexual or complete flower. Some flowers are containing either stamen or pistil. Any one sex organ is known as unisexual or incomplete flower. For example of unisexual flowers are bottle gourd, bitter gourd, cucumber. These are all unisexual flowers. Next, pollination. Transfer of pollen grains. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a same flower. The transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a same flower. Anther to the stigma of a same flower is known as self-pollination. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a same flower is known as self-pollination. Then transfer of pollen grains anther to the stigma of another flower. Anther to the stigma of another flower of same species is known as cross-pollination. Last class we have discussed about the pollination. Let us now we discuss about the topic is difference between self and cross-pollination. What are the differences between self-pollination and cross-pollination? Self-pollination. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a same flower is known as self-pollination. Then transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of another flower is known as cross-pollination. Then self-pollination is present only single plant. It containing both the sex organs like stamen and pistil. But cross-pollination is two different plants of the same species. For example, bottle gourd and bottle gourd. One bottle gourd plant is present stamen only. Another bottle gourd plant is present pistil only. Then both are done by cross-pollination. But species are same. Okay. Two different plants of the same species is done by cross-pollination. Okay. Next. Self-pollination occurs in perfect flowers. Perfect means bisexual. A flower is containing anther and stigma. Both sex organs containing the flower is called bisexual or complete or perfect flowers. Self-pollination occurs in perfect flowers. Then cross-pollination occurs in imperfect and perfect flower. Means unisexual and bisexual flowers. Both are done by cross-pollination. See, less number of pollen grains are produced. Very few number of pollen grains are produced. Pollen grains are male gametes. Pollen grains are male gametes. Then more number of pollen grains are produced. Then example of self-pollination, bee of cross pollination maize, pumpkin and grapes. Okay. See, transfer of pollen grains anther to the stigma of a same flower is known as self-pollination. But cross pollination, the transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of another flower is known as cross pollination. It presents only single plant, only one plant. It containing both sex organs like stamen and pistil. Okay, androecium and gynoecium. Okay, this is known as bisexual flowers is contained then by self-pollination. But cross-pollination, two different plants of the same species. There is bottle gourd and bottle gourd, bitter gourd and bitter gourd, cucumber and cucumber. Okay, these same species plants are done by cross-pollination. Next, self-pollination occurs in perfect and flowers, bisexual flowers. They are containing pistil and stamen. Cross-pollination occurs in perfect and perfect flowers, means bisexual flowers and unisexual flowers also is done by cross-pollination. Next, less number of pollen grains are produced. Pollen grains are male gametes. Pollen grains are male gametes. It produces very few in number. Self-pollination like wheat, rice and peas. But cross-pollination, more number of pollen grains are produced. Lot of pollen grains are produced by the plants are maize, pumpkin and grapes. Okay, see, these self-pollination plants are which characters are present the parent plant, same characters are present in the daughter plant also. For example, wheat. Wheat is giving more production. Same type of plants are present. Young plant also giving more production. Young plant also giving more production. This is having more disease resistant capacity. Then young plant also having more disease resistant capacity. These plants are growing well and giving more production. This young plant also is growing fast and giving more crop yield. This type of characters, same genetically, same characters. Which characters? Genetically, which characters are present in the parent plant? Same characters are present in the young plant also. Okay, next. In cross pollination, to avoid any unnecessary characters. For example, the plant having less disease resistant capacity. But in cross pollination, one plant is less disease resistant capacity, another plant is more disease resistant capacity. That result in cross pollination developing by the plant having more disease resistant capacity. Means unwanted characters are eliminated. And wanted characters are present in the cross pollination. Wanted characters means the plant having more disease resistant capacity, high yielding capacity and growing more fast the capacity, and this type of characters, good characters or quality of the plants are producing by cross pollination. Quality of plants are producing by cross pollination. This is about the differences between self-pollination and cross-pollination. Now, we will discuss about the agents of pollination. Some agents are required to transferring the pollen grains from one flower to another flower. For example, birds, insects, water, wind, animals. These are the 5 types are called pollinatory agents. These are called pollinatory agents. Birds, insects, air, water and wind. These are called pollinatory agents. Now we will discuss about that pollinatory agents. pollination is completed. Next, pollinatory agents like birds, insects, air, water, wind, and animals. Animals are called pollinatory agents. Wind are called pollinatory agents. What is mean by pollinatory agents? The transfer of pollen grains from one flower to another flower. One flower to another flower are known as pollinatory agents. Pollinatory agents. What happened? Pollinatory agents are absent means there is no pollination. What happened to absent of pollination? The absent of pollination, the plants or flowers should not develop into seed. Should not develop into seed. That result, the farmer crop yielding is reduced. The farmer crop yield is reduced. Sometimes the farmers are spraying by pesticides and insecticides. These are required doses of pesticides and insecticides are spraying by the crop plants is useful. But more doses of pesticides and insecticides are spraying on the crop plants not only harmful, useful organisms also died. Useful organisms also died. For example, in sunflower crop, then spraying by pesticides and insecticides are more, their insects are died. Actually, sunflower is pollinating through the insects. The insects are died, there is not done by pollination. That's why there is flowers are not formed by seeds. Then crop yield is reduced. It is a very danger to the nature. Should not spray the more amount of pesticides and insecticides. Okay, next. Birds, insects, air, water and wind are known as pollinatory agents. Then first one is insects. Birds and insects. Many of the plants are pollinating by birds and insects. Which are pollinating by insects, the flowers are more attractive. The flowers are more attractive and odor. Attractive and odor. Odor means smell. They are giving smell. Flowers are more attractive colors. Attractive colors. Okay, this type of plants is done by pollination through the insects. For example, insects are sitting the flower. Insects are sitting one flower. Then pollen grains are attached to the body of insect. The pollen grains are attached to the body of insect. Then same insect is sitting to another flower. The same insect is sitting to another flower. These pollen grains are releasing by the pollen grains are releasing to another flower. The pollen grains are releasing to another flower by insects. Transfer of pollen grains through the insects. Insects are suck the nectar from the flowers. These are sitting on the flower and suck the nectar. Some of the pollen grains are attached to the body of insect. The same insect is sitting to another flower and these pollen grains are released on the flower. Then transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a flower is known as pollination. Already you know. Here is done by the pollination through the insects. That result it form a seeds. It form a fruits and seeds. fruits and seeds. You know already the fertilization, the fission of male and female gamete. The fission of male and female gamete is formed by zygote. Is formed by zygote. Zygote is developed into embryo. Zygote is developed into embryo. Then embryo is developed into young plant. Embryo is developed into young plant. Okay. Then here the zygote is formed by some fruits and seeds. Here a transfer of pollen grains anther to the stigma of a flower is stigma to is transferring through the ovary and ovules. Ovary and ovules. After fertilization, ovary is developed into fruit, ovules are developed into seeds. Okay, this is birds and insects. Birds, insects, air, water and wind are called pollinatory agents. Birds and insects, which are done by the pollination of birds and insects. The flowers are more attractive colors and they emit a sweet smell also. Okay, the insects are sitting on the flower to suck the nectar. The pollen grains are attached to the body of insect. The same insect is sitting to another flower. These pollen grains are released into another flower, then done by the pollination. After it develop into fruits and seeds. Thank you. Next class we will discuss about remaining air, water and wind are the pollinatory agents.